Another good example for restrictions and activity completions would be directing students to varying learning path based on the course performance. Like for example, in this particular scenario, based on their score from sample quiz 1, then they can access the contents. Like for example, if their score is below 70%, they can only access the learning resources basic, and if their score is 70% or more, then they can access learning resources advanced. It works the way around. Like for example, if your score is 70% or more, then you cannot access, of course, the learning resources for basics. So let's try and set it up in that particular way. So like for example, for learning resources basics, we can only let students access this one if their score is 70%. I mean, if their score is less than 70% from the sample quiz 1. So again, we'll be using the restrict access option. And then we're going to, of course, set that the activity sample quiz 1 must be completed first before they can access the learning resources basic. And of course, we need to set the grade so that their score for sample quiz 1 must be less than 70%. So that's 69. So that must be less than 69%, right? Okay, it must be less than 70%. That's it. So we're going to save and return to course. So basically only students who got 70%, only students who got grade of 70%, less than 70% from sample quiz 1 can access learning resources for basic, and also for advanced. We're going to edit the settings, restrict access. We're going to have the activity completion so that the students must complete the sample quiz 1 first, and then they should achieve a grade of at least 70% or more for sample quiz 1 so that they can access the said resource or resources. Okay, so let's try and check. I'm going to switch role as student. Currently, the score for the student right now is a perfect score. If you notice here, you have 10 out of 10. So of course, he can only access the learning resources advanced. If you can see, the basic is grayed out. Let me try and change the score of the student for sample quiz 1. I will change it to 50%. Okay, so I have updated the score of the student for sample quiz 1. It now says 5 out of 10. Let's check if we can still access the advanced learning resources. As you can see, it's now grayed out because your score does not meet the minimum requirements to access the resources for the advanced learning resources. But then again, you have the resources for basics. You can now access the resources for basic because your score is less than 70%. So basically, you're creating individual or unique learning path for students depending on their course performance. In this case, the learning path is dependent on the score for sample quiz 1. So that's a very good way. That's one way of personalizing the experience of students inside your virtual classroom.